Really excited for our next guest. We've been talking about the 1619 Project for a couple months now. New York Times started this in this effort to redefine the founding of America from 1776 to 1619, which is when the first black slaves were brought to America. Now, it would be one thing if it was just its own New York Times article that they wrote, but they've expanded it and turned it into this curriculum, which is infiltrating into our schools, which makes it that much more insidious and dangerous and necessary to get the full story about. Now, I'm so grateful because there's this group of scholars who have come together called 1776 Unites to try and add the proper context to what the 1619 Project has left out. And one of the leaders of that project is Dr. Carol Swain, a former professor at Vanderbilt and Princeton University. Dr. Swain, how are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great, and I'm honored to be a part of this broadcast.
Wonderful, thank you. Let's first start, because I want to spend more time on the 1776 Unites, what you're a part of. But give us the brief rundown of what the 1619 Project is and maybe your biggest problem with it.
Well, it seems to be an effort to totally rewrite history. The people that are behind the project that are working with the New York Times, they argue that the true founding of the nation was not 1776 with the Declaration of Independence, but 1619 when the first slaves were brought to America. And part of the argument is that the nation could not have been built without the slave labor. And it leaves out a lot of history about slavery and also about the free blacks in America. Many of them owned slaves, as well as the major Indian tribes at the time, the Native Americans. These were slave owners. And what is truly remarkable about America is that we led the way in ending slavery. And slavery, has been throughout history. There have been slaves, but America led the way in ending slavery, and there were always people who fought against it.
That last thing you said is so. Why is that part left out of the story always? The effort that Americans made, even if you want to call our founding fathers racist slave owners or whatever, there are still many other Americans who led the effort to end it. Why is that part left out of the story?
I don't know, because the story, this narrative that they're putting forth, it's all about black victimization and white oppression of blacks, and it serves a political agenda. And so, I mean, that's the first way to look at it. It doesn't serve their purpose to tell the full history of slavery in America. And so with the 1776 Unites project, what we want to do is fill in the missing pieces. And so there are many scholars, as well as journalists and activists, and we want to tell the full story of American history, and it's a positive story. And, we still live in the greatest nation in the world. I grew up loving my country, and I still love my country, and I believe if I were hearing the negative messages that are being put out by groups like the ones behind the 1619 Project, I know they're well-intended. I'm not sure I would have tried as hard to overcome my poverty and to become, a university professor. I come from poverty, first-generation college student, high school dropout. I worked hard because I believed in America.
Slater Crusaders, thanks for watching the first on YouTube. If you want more, like, subscribe. We got plenty.